Welcome to Vintage Video, School Days. I'm David Mossner. There's almost no end of stories you can do about education, starting with budgets, staffing, and referendums, but there are other stories worth telling from inside school walls. It seemed fitting that the subject for governor/teacher George Mickelson was geography, since a lot of folks outside North and South Dakota have only a vague idea where to find it on a map. And to prove it wasn't his first time in the classroom, the governor brought along a little incentive for the class.
Bringing candy into the classroom is okay if you're the governor, and the Hershey bar is the key to the globe.
Geography is a very important part of understanding the world that we're living in and being able to participate in the world.
The Hershey bar took the 5th grade class from Pennsylvania to Brazil for cocoa and Italy for almonds. Across the country, geography is getting national attention because many students can't even find the U.S. on a map. As a teacher, his students gave the governor high marks for knowing the geography of the classroom.
Learn where the stuff, what was in the chocolate bar and where it all came from.
I think he is real good. It was fun looking up states on the map, finding them.
The governor says the toughest thing for him about geography was learning how to spell it, so he gave the class a tip.
George Emerson's old grandfather wrote a pig home yesterday.
Mrs. Donahue, the regular teacher, says the governor did a fantastic job teaching her class. One of her students got right to the heart of the matter of why geography is really important.
Well, if you don't know where something is and you're going to take a trip to it, how would you know where you were going?
Dave Mossner, KELOLAND News, Pierre.
The goal when someone famous visits a school is to call special attention to a subject, whether it's the governor or several professional basketball players. That was the goal of Alex English when he played for the Denver Nuggets and organized a trip to schools on Indian reservations, bringing along several teammates to encourage students to think big.
Smiles, please.
You might not recognize Alex English without the number 2 on his chest, but the high-scoring forward for the Denver Nuggets is shooting jump shots into this crowd of high schoolers as part of his team's Fast Break for Life tour, visiting 4 Indian reservations.
I think that the message that we are trying to relay to the kids is an important one, not just for these kids here, but for all the youth in America. You know, we're talking about reducing the rate of teen pregnancies, reducing the rate of alcohol and substance abuse, getting the illiteracy rate down.
I believe that I could be a professional basketball player, but it took a lot of hard work, and it took me believing that I could do it, and it took a lot of determination. And all these grown people that's accomplished the dreams that they set out to accomplish, they're your role models.
After the assembly, the Nuggets put on a clinic for area girls basketball players. English taught shooting. Draft pick Todd Mitchell from Purdue concentrated on defense. Guard Fat Lever demonstrated ball handling, and center Wayne Cooper taught rebounding.
It's been a therapy for me. It's been a reinforcement. You stop and you look at your life, and you see things in your life that you would like to change. So, like I said, it's been great.
How long the students remember the basketball skills or the message remains to be seen, but the Nuggets who made this trip voluntarily hope the basic message sinks in.
We hope that the young people say, hey, I saw Fat Lever, hey, I saw Alex English, hey, I saw Todd Mitchell, I saw Wayne Cooper. Those guys, they're all superstars, and they all came from problem situations, and they were able to adjust from it. Maybe we can do the same thing.
Dave Mossner, KELOLAND Sports, Mission.
Serious issues at Wisconsin School for the Deaf in the early 1990s caused high school students there to walk out of class, protesting the lack of hearing-impaired staff in student dormitories and demanding that the dean of students resign.
This morning, instead of walking to class, students walked out.
We want Dean out! We want Dean out!
Nearly every secondary student is on the picket line. After weeks of talking to school officials, student leaders hope the walkout convinces the administration they mean business.
They don't even understand that they don't do what we wanted. And it's not much to ask for.
Hearing-impaired students call their school home 5 days a week, but they say the problem is that the dorm isn't like home at all. Of 32 house parents who supervise and advise students, only 3 are deaf. Numbers students blame for the 5 attempted suicides at the school this fall.
They don't seem to understand us. They don't seem to understand it. Sure, they can sign, but they don't seem to understand us. There's a gap between us.
As a remedy, students have a list of demands.
We would ask for our Dean of Students to resign. He puts this in as Dean of Students.
They want hearing-impaired individuals to make up 51% of the school staff, and a meeting with state officials within 2 weeks.
I understand what their feelings are. I don't necessarily agree with everything, but...
When Shipman retires, students want him replaced with a hearing-impaired administrator. Shipman had been planning to step down in the spring of 1993. He says hiring a qualified deaf replacement is a good idea. As far as the call for the resignation of student dean David Dopkins,
I and others will investigate this circumstance further.
the superintendent says he will meet with groups of students to discuss their concerns. As far as the other issues, he hopes to get those resolved quickly. Dave Mossner, WISC News 3, Delavan.
Technology education went swimmingly in Milton, Wisconsin, thanks to an outside-the-classroom approach by the instructor who asked students to come in on a Saturday to try their new skills underwater.
It's never been done before here. Technology education class meeting on a Saturday in the pool. The idea:
take these kids and put them into a different environment other than the classroom and just let them have fun.
Mission accomplished.
It was one of the best times of my life. That was wonderful. That was so much fun.
Pretty cool. It's kind of neat. It's weird underwater, breathing.
The other half of the assignment, understanding the effect a different situation has on doing the little things that come naturally.
The job is constructing a 4-foot cube that is very similar to what NASA does, training their astronauts who are going to be, assembling things in outer space.
You got to concentrate on what you're doing and what you're breathing and stuff like that, and it gets really hard.
Maneuvering the parts was like a little different, There was like a water drag on them when you try to swing them around and all that kind of stuff.
Breathing became a conscious thought. Talking done through hand signals.
Well, the water alone made it 10 times as hard. Because a boat would fall down, you had to go down and get it, or on land it wouldn't happen. It hit the ground, you pick it up, and that's fine. But down here in the 10-foot deeps area, you have to go all the way down to the bottom and get it, bring it back up.
Kittleson hopes to make the class dive a traditional experience.
It was fun. It's really different.
One students will remember a long, long time. Dave Mossner, WISC News 3, Milton.
Introducing agriculture students in Jefferson County to aquaculture meant setting up a very small livestock operation in a high school classroom to teach future farmers about a new type of farming.
This is probably the smallest livestock farm in Jefferson County. 27 white perch in the ag department.
He's not one of the bigger ones, is he?
Jefferson is one of the first Wisconsin high schools to offer aquaculture.
You can catch them and kill them, and eat them and stuff, but I just wanted to see what it was like to raise them.
There's more to it than a tank and fish food. Students keep constant tabs on the fish, weighing, measuring, and testing the water. But when the perch arrived as fingerlings, they lost weight in the first month.
They just weren't eating, and we had to put the PVC pipe in so that they had something to hide and be together with. They were just lonely and wouldn't eat.
Consulting with a local fish hatchery manager led to creating the underwater structures. The fish started eating again. Just the kind of problems farmers face that aren't found in books.
And we can also use a lot of applications of science and biology and things like that, and ecosystem management, because the fish, it's a totally contained system.
Georgeson says because many people are eating less red meat these days, the future looks bright for raising fish for market, as well as raising fish to restock lakes and rivers. Dave Mossner, WISC News 3, Jefferson.
The way you get good at something is practice, practice, practice. In Pierce, South Dakota, a student practiced a variety of skills while putting out a neighborhood newspaper.
In his busy newsroom, Elliot Harmon decides what's fit to print in the Wednesday news and what stories meet the paper's high standards.
Well, just when we find something interesting, we put it in the newspaper. Something in here that's interesting. It's a neighborhood newspaper, so we sell it to the neighborhood, some people in the Capitol and some people in the Knight building.
8-year-old Elliot learned the business from older brother Aaron. 13-year-old Aaron is on assignment and was unavailable for comment on this story. Aaron edits now and then on the flip side of the Wednesday news with stories about history. The boy's father and publisher says the news business is a good way to spend the summer.
My best hope for it was practice typing, spelling, getting organized, meeting a deadline, talking to people, the interviewing kind of business, and making some spending money.
Life as a journalist is fun, but Elliot says thanks, but no thanks, to the chance at a career in journalism.
When I grow up, I want to be a professional wrestler.
Dave Mossner, Kelloland News, Pier.
Reading is a fundamental skill we use our whole life, which makes it a top-of-mind subject in elementary schools as teachers and administrators look for ways to encourage kids to pick up a book. A favorite way to do so is with the principal offering to do something different, like sleep on the school roof, if kids reach the goal.
It's going to be a long night for Dr. Rick Mason. He challenged Washington students to read 370 books a week for 5 weeks.
I really didn't think so. But the kids really outdid themselves on this one, and they sent me up to the roof.
With a wide variety of books.
The story of Ben Franklin.
Anne of Green Gables, scary stories to tell in the dark.
Nothing's fair in 4th grade.
It doesn't matter what kids read. What matters is that kids are reading.
From science to magazines, comic strips, literature in terms of novels and short stories, picture books, anything.
The students finished more than 2,000 books in the 5 weeks. Even the kindergartners read along.
How many did we each do, boys and girls? 5.
The payoff, ice cream sundaes for the kids, and a cold night for Mason.
I can make sure he stays on the roof because I live in the block.
Well, I got a nice, thick, down sleeping bag, and I brought along a hat here that helped keep my head warm.
If he survives, the teachers have promised to take him out for a nice hot breakfast in the morning. Dave Mossner, WISC News 3, Janesville.
Another way teachers found to get first graders interested in reading and writing was by setting up their own publishing house.
It's a big day for Amanda Cutting Henke.
Ta-da!
Her long-awaited book, her first, I Like Puppies, is finished.
They chase me too, and they are wild.
Before getting published, authors must get the go-ahead from a teacher-editor. Then it's on to the publishing house.
They write the book, and they make all the choices as far as color of pages and type of print, size of print, how they want to lay it out. All the illustrations are their own. So it's our job mostly just to kind of facilitate, help them along.
The publishing house is writing its own happy ending. Teachers say writing books has excited their students.
And it's not just an assignment for a teacher, it's something they really want to do. They're choosing their own topics to write on, and they want that perfect copy in the end, so they're paying more attention to that.
Excited students means better results. Since the publishing house opened, teachers say writing skills have improved.
It's a really good way to get the kids started into enjoying the experience of reading and writing.
When the book is finished, the author shares the creation with classmates in a private reading. Erica Bolden wrote E is for Erica.
T is for Erica. Why? Because she loves her dad Tom.
The book business is so good, 100 young authors are on a waiting list because the publishers are overloaded. Proof, the teachers say, that writing has become fun.
Because it's a purpose for writing rather than for a grade. It's for a final product.
Books stay at the school until the author leaves for 6th grade. Dave Mossner, WISC News 3, Edgerton.
After years of reading and writing, it's time to put spelling skills to the test. While it wasn't on a national stage, the spelling bee between the champion for each elementary school was televised to each school in Janesville.
4, 3, 2.
Live from the Educational Services Center, it's the spelling bee. Although some kids felt
sick, S-I-C-K.
Others were able to
brush, B-R-U-S-H.
It off. Those not in the spell down watched and cheered for their school's champion.
E-I-S-H-R-A-G.
But as the words got tougher,
turret, T-U-R-I-T.
No, I'm sorry.
It became a two-person race.
Heirloom. H-E-R-L-O-O-M.
No, I'm sorry.
Jason Reed thought he'd be out after his first word, but after spelling heirloom correctly, he got his toughest word of the day.
I knew if I spelled it right, I was going to win, and if I knew I missed it, I would be pretty embarrassed because it wasn't that hard. Tortoise. T-O-R-T-O-I-S-E.
That's correct.
But the trophy isn't all glitter. It also means extra work around the house.
We use the dictionary a lot, but I think from now on I'll probably be using Jason.
Dave Mossner, WISC News 3, Janesville.
Lunchtime has changed a lot in schools through the years and continues to adjust to nutritional standards and student preferences. Here are two stories on the changing school lunch in Jefferson and Janesville, where Adams Elementary was one of 11 schools turning to Pizza Hut to deliver hot lunch.
At lunchtime, kids still run for the food. But what's on their tray has changed a lot in the 13 years Ruth Blazing's been behind the counter.
We use a lot less fat now. We drain all our meat, a lot less sugar.
Also, more fresh fruit and vegetables. And even the pizza fits into a healthy diet.
It's very nutritious. It's got all the items in it, whatever the children need, you know, the protein and whatever they have to have for growing. And
there's a fast food line, too. Today, a hoagie or chicken nuggets, French fries, fruit, cookie, and milk. Just as healthy as the regular meal, according to the cooks, but it gets some kids to eat who might otherwise go without. Blazing says even though the food on the plate has changed, the kids haven't. Like students before them, they don't care about cholesterol or how healthy the food is.
No, I just eat it.
Sometimes you wonder what's in the fast line, but other than that, it's good.
Good enough to impress Jefferson residents invited in to try a hot lunch.
That pizza is really good. I love it. I'm a pizza eater anyway.
Good because it gets kids to eat a healthy lunch. Dave Mossner, WISC News 3, Jefferson. Ask kids at Adams Elementary about regular hot lunch.
It's gross.
An experimental program is bringing Pizza Hut pizza to school to much better reviews.
It tastes like food, not rubber.
The 11 elementary schools don't have kitchens to prepare meals, so the regular meals arrive pre-cooked.
We get the frozen items in and heat them here at the school.
Most days, Adams serves 175 hot lunches. With pizza on the menu, 275 signed up.
Because we got Pizza Hut pizza. It's good!
Pizza Hut started entering lunch programs nationally 2 years ago. The district started talking to the Janesville stores last year.
We don't make a lot of money on it. It's more to enhance the school lunch program.
The pizzas come with a fruit cup and milk to meet national school lunch nutritional standards. Students pay an extra 25 cents for the pizza above the dollar meal ticket price.
It's good! Better than just regular school pizza!
It's $7 a pizza, a break-even price for the district. The pizza deliveries will continue through the next school year. If it's a success, Janesville might try to get other restaurants interested in joining the lunch program, because officials say a good lunch helps kids concentrate when they get back to class. Dave Mossner, WISC News 3, Janesville.
Our last story features an award-winning middle school teacher who excelled at bringing French to life in the classroom. The honor, sponsored by Disney, included an award and being part of a video on top teachers.
La plage, la terre, le soleil,
For 27 years, Cullen has Parlez-vous Français students out of Janesville and into Paris for one reason.
I love kids, and the kids know that I like them and I care about them a lot.
Out of 400 teachers' names sent to Disney, Cullen is one of 30 selected for the Disney Channel Salute to the American Teacher.
She's just enthusiastic, she's a motivational person, she's got a lot of energy, and the kids love her.
I would hope that the recognition, not only for teachers, but also for the foreign language program, which is always somewhat tenuous in this country because of our lack of commitment, because the teaching of foreign language is very important.
For the Disney cameras, Cullen and her students acted out highlights of a year of learning, like speaking French in a rainforest.
Et le papillon vole, hein, le papillon vole. De quelle couleur est le papillon?
Cullen describes good teaching as magic in the classroom, where a twist of fun with the learning brings France to life in a blackboard jungle. Dave Mossner, WISE News 3, Janesville.
There's a lot more at school than what happens in class. We'll go there in a future episode. That's it for the School Days edition of Vintage Video. I'm David Mossner. See you next time!